Okay, so we're back, day 2. We've constructed our lifeguard chair, and there are a couple of optional things that we're going to show you before we finish it. So we've cut these pieces of plywood as cross bracing. It's really not necessary, but it gives you another spot that you can put some more kind of creative writing on it. Today we're going to prime, paint, upholster it with carpet, and get it finished up. Right, Benedito?
Yes.
So Benedito is priming it. We're using a semi-gloss paint. You can use satin. I would not use an eggshell or a flat paint. A lot of times you can buy paint and primer together. They have a lot of those kinds of products available these days, and it's a latex paint. Semi-gloss is really good because it's very washable, and your cat will very likely rub its cheeks on a lot of the open surfaces, so you're going to get a lot of that kind of oil and that sort of stuff that you'll want to wash off in time. Another option you could do here is to spray paint it. And as we said at the start of the video, you can buy pre-primed wood, which will save you a great deal of time in painting. Benedito is using both a roller and a paintbrush. Typically, we will use a paintbrush to get all of the inner corners and connection points, let those dry, and then roll a coat of paint or primer after that to give sort of a smooth wash. You can paint this any color you want. We're going with a white and red theme. We're going to have white for the entire frame, and we'll be using red carpet, and we have a little red and white life preserver that we got from a Party Goods online supply store. If you don't want to use carpet, you can also paint this. If you're going to paint the platform surfaces, we recommend that you sand the edges of this so there's no splinters to get into your cat's paws. Also, if you don't want to upholster it and don't want to paint it, but you want to have maybe a fleece covering or blanket of some kind, you could either have that loosely laid or to have Velcro on the underside of the platforms and have it be something that you cut to size and stitch some Velcro onto the edges of it and have it wrap both the footrest and the seat. So drip marks are bound to happen. When this happens to you, just sand it down with an 80 grit sandpaper and apply another coat of paint. First coat of paint.
What's good? Looking good?
We'll let it dry, then we'll sand a little bit and put on the next coat.
Yeah.
Okay, now that our piece is completely painted, we're going to do a little decorating with this, a little craft work. So what we have is 2-inch high stencil letters that we got from Staples or Office Depot. We actually made a jig here to keep everything in line, but these are basically separate letters, and you can use some masking tape and tape them onto the boards where you want to put the signage. We're going to have several signs. At the front crossbar is going to say Lifeguard. We've got one at the back that says no fishing. It's going to go on the back crossbar. And on the top seat backs, we're going to have 2 signs, one that says Kitties and the bottom one that says Only. So we'll say Kitties Only up there. And Benedito is going to spray paint. All right, take it easy. Because we don't mind the fact that this is somewhat crude, if you get a little overspray of spray paint, don't worry about it. You could either go back and touch it up with the white paint with a brush, or you can just let it be. We kind of like things to look sort of rough because that's essentially how they construct a lot of these lifeguard chairs. One thing you can do is mask off the piece as well. Using a drop cloth here, we just clamped it on to the side rungs here of the X-frame. That'll help you prevent any overspray from getting on most of the body of the chair. Some light, gentle strokes. We don't want to overspray it too much. We just want to make sure that the sign just gets, the letters just get through with the paint. I'm going to let it dry. There you have it. Now we're going to do our no fishing sign on the back crossbar piece. And if you don't have a drop cloth, you can use a spare piece of cardboard box. Okay, we've laid the chair down on its back, and now we're going to do the seat back rungs with our signage Kitties Only. You see he's doing very light, gentle spray. You don't want to overspray, get too much coming out of the can. And obviously you want to wear a mask for protection.
Cool.
And our last sign is only, for kitties only. It's okay. We touch it up again with a little brush. So we had a little overspray on the only part, and we used a brush, just a small paintbrush, and cleaned it up a little bit. So if that happens to you, don't worry, you can clean it up. We measured 16 1/8 width for our footrest platform, and we're going to just cut this entire width. This is in excess of what we need, but 27.5 will do nice to wrap around the edges. We're using a carpet knife to cut, but you can use a utility knife as well.
Yeah.
So we use a pneumatic staple gun with narrow crown staples and carpet glue. Benedito's spreading the carpet glue out nice and evenly.
Okay. Very even. Do like this, halfway, like that. Center your carpet on the center of the wood, you know, like this. And let it go down like that. And you have the block underneath here. So you need to so.
Gotta carefully fold that under the rung.
Alright.
Now you're gonna use the staples to...
First I do on the side. Then I do on the... That's it.
If you are using carpet glue, you want to keep a damp cloth around just in case it gets on the carpet, gets on your fingers. You center the carpet on the footrest platform, and now we're going to staple it in. So we cut 2 additional pieces of 22.5-inch long boards, just straight 90-degree cuts, and we're going to use those as cross braces, one on the outside of the frame, this at the back of the chair, and one on the inside of the frame. One of the finishing touches we want to do is add sisal rope to the support rungs of the lower platform. So to do that, we're using some 1/4-inch sisal rope, which you can get at any hardware store. You could use 3/8-inch as well. It's a little thicker and a little meatier for your cat. This will go much more quickly. When it's thin like this, you're going to have to do more rounds, but we're doing just a simple hot glue adherence.
But I don't put the hot glue all over the place, you know. Just a little bit here, a little bit there, you know. For example, here, put a little bit here, and a little bit on the back.
So we're doing this with the rung in place. So we're winding this around kind of the harder way.
Yeah.
Another way to do this is to take this piece off. But before you do that, you want to mark in pencil where you want the sisal to be.
Yeah. But you have to be tight.
Yeah, you want to pull the rope tight.
Yeah. So the cat can do like this.
It's a good idea to use gloves when you're doing this as well, if you're not a masochist like us. And now for the other support rung, we're going to do the same thing. When it's sped up like this, it does not look at all tedious. It's very tedious. So this is an optional thing that we did. We're adding armrests to the chair. It's perfectly fine without it, as you can see, but we thought it'd be a nice added touch. We just did 2 blocks that are about, 3 inches high, and eccentrically put them on the edges here so that we would notch the backs and screw it into the side. And we made a little hole on the side that we can go right into both the frame and the seat back rungs. With our chair fully complete, we had it tested out by Chief Inspector Sophia. And it looks like she loves it. And like I said, the cats really love to rub their cheeks along those edges. Cutie pie. Please share with us your finished creations.